Hey Vera, you want to take a bite?
Nice ah. You try. Wah, bagus ni. It's so good eh.
Ya ada standard ni.
Boleh pakai ni. But
You can't really taste the carrot.
so good.
Can you taste the carrot? You can taste the carrot meh?
Oh, blended so good.
Or the corner
What's
lock.
it? This is the best part.
The corner lock.
Corner lock. I'm recording, you know, by the way. It's gonna be all on the video. How my wife always feed me.
You're very wise ah.
And what's up, you guys? Melvin here, and if you all don't know already, this is a very important person next to me. The only reason why I'm allowed to sit very close to her, because kita sudah kahwin, my wife. So this is one of the things that I've been wanting to do for quite long. I want to introduce to all of you my wife. And in a cyclist point of view, wives are known to be finance minister as well as the immigration officer, right? So she is the reason I have to always like apply visa lah. But to be perfectly fair with you, actually my wife is okay with me cycling one. It's just that sometimes when I'm out cycling, I feel bad that she's with the kids, because I also am a father. I have my responsibility lah. So I know a lot of you are gonna ask me. So let me ask her. Do you cycle?
No, I don't.
Why?
I bake.
You bake, but why you don't cycle?
I guess if two of us cycle, then who's gonna take care of the kids, right? So.
True. Kids, can you take care of yourself? You're on camera lah. Don't disturb me. Working here. Okay, go sit down.
Making money.
Making. Okay, so back to the topic. So yeah, by the way, follow my wife's Instagram. I'll put the link around here. And my wife, she does a lot of baking, as you can see. She always feed me one. Why you always feed me?
Well, there is not many people in the household, and the one that can really eat a lot is
me. Okay, today I want to ask my wife something, and oh, don't forget, today is the emphasis of love yourself, right? Remember I was telling you that for the next couple of weeks, I want to talk about cycling related things and how we should love ourselves. I'm going to cover a lot of topics, that's around cycling as well as on your personal level, okay? So part of the love yourself campaign that I'm trying to do is, number one, remember I was saying that in my vlog, I want to do some stickers. Tell me what you think. If you think it's okay, I'll make some stickers, and if I see any of you around, I'll pass out the stickers for you to stick on your notebook, absolutely free. But all this again is in relation to, because I am cycling, I'm always out there and there's always danger there, right? So part of the love myself campaign is when I go out cycling, I know there's risks here and there, right? But before we go to the questions, I'm going to ask Victoria, which is my wife. Please follow her on Instagram. So Vic, tell me about yourself. What do you do?
okay. I'm an insurance agent, and I also do will writing and trust.
Wait,
life insurance.
when you talk about will writing, I know there's two types, right? The Muslim one and the non-Muslim one.
Yeah. I also have 2 licenses for a conventional will writing and also Islamic wasiat. And I'm also tied up with a company in conventional life insurance and also takaful as well.
When I'm out cycling, every Sunday there's risks involved, right? Even like, how do you feel like 2 months ago when I had the crash? Was it a shock to you?
I mean, cycling is a sport, and you're out there, so there is always a risk lah. I mean, these are very minor kind of injury that you have. Probably what's worrying is if you crash your head and then you can't remember us anymore, that probably would be a bit more severe. And of course, if death occurs, then
But if I can't remember you, that'll be pretty cool. You know why? Suddenly I come back home. Then suddenly one beautiful girl come to me. I'm your wife. Wow, I'm a lucky guy, right? Anyway, okay. So there is risk involved, and to be honest, I am actually well insured. The only reason why I'm well insured is because my wife is an agent, so she explains everything to me. So it's normal, right? Because my wife is an agent, so I know her explanation to me is pretty clear. Right? And oh, by the way, also today we are talking about my personal insurance or whatever, or protecting myself. In future videos, I'm also going to talk about bike insurance, this and that, in case you're going to ask. But now back to my wife, okay? So there are risks involved, falling down, this and that. In fact, one of the crash that I had like 4 years ago, then when my buddy Daniel called my wife, I think you also like shocked, right? Right? It's like suddenly my wife knows that I always cycle with Daniel or some of my friends, and suddenly during the right time, Sunday morning, suddenly if she receives any call from any of my friends who rides with me, I think it's like the hati also terjatuh, right? Like a shocker sometimes.
Yeah.
Right.
Or maybe maybe your tire punctured.
Yeah.
Then you need me to fetch you.
But so far I never asked you to fetch me lah.
Probably, yeah, never lah.
Okay, so what are the risks involved? I don't think you need an insurance agent to tell you that the risk involved cycling is always potentially permanent disability or death. There's only two things, right? And if you look at if you've been a cyclist for more than 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, to be honest, it always posts on Facebook or social media one. Like a couple of months ago, an old uncle passed away in Temyang. A car banged from behind. Then last year there was a lady who was a single mom of 2, also passed away while cycling in Shah Alam area. So it happens, right? That's why it's called an accident, right? If you ask me, falling down and breaking my frame is nothing compared to if something happens to me, because I'm in a way earning income for the family and taking care of the family. I'm providing food on the table and paying for the house, this and that. So I'm going to ask you, probably the first question is, Vic, how would you advise me how do I protect myself and my family?
Okay. In terms of protecting your own self, when you protect your own self, in a way you do protect your family lah. Of course, with life insurance, you cannot replace the person, but rather you ease the burden of the family lah. That the family is able to get on with life, and with the financial relief that you buy for the life insurance. And actually there is a formula to it, like how much life insurance or TPD, total permanent disability, a person should buy, which is about 10 times of their annual income. So assuming if your income is like 100,000 times 10, that would be 1 million. So that would be an advisable coverage for yourself, because life insurance does not only cover for death but also for total permanent disability. So in event if the person became TPD, right, in an accident, and this person having a 1 million coverage, don't have to worry about their income at least for the next 10 years. That is the assumption.
Because end of the day, I think for me, even because I'm asking my wife about me, okay? You as the viewers also potentially, if you can relate that I am one of you, we are all cyclists and that, I think if it's relatable, but I think I'm going to direct all the questions towards me. How can I protect myself? Because when I look at it, every time when I go cycling, of course the night before, I always pray for safety for the family. In fact, all my kids always pray for safety for me when I go out cycling, because there's risk involved, right? We are sharing the road. So it is quite scary to know that one day if something happens to me, and my wife have to take care of me and the family, then I have to think about the car loan, the house loan, right? And then the children's education, which probably costs the biggest chunk of all those, right? Yeah, so I'm not selling insurance to you. bear in mind this. In my point of view, this is an important topic that a lot of us always shove off because we think we are invisible, right? But you just don't know, to be honest, you just don't know. So I'm actually sharing to you because as cyclists, we are responsible of our action. So if anything happens to us, it impacts not just us, it impacts the family, right?
Yeah. All of us also should have a will as well, you know, to protect the interests of our own loved ones.
Yeah, do you have any like case studies or testimonies? Because you've been in insurance for almost 10 years? Over a decade? Not almost a decade.
Yep.
Right.
Yes.
So talking about going back to the question number 1, protecting yourself, right? Do you have any case studies where you actually help someone? Not cycling related, because I think a lot of clients, there are some are cyclists and not, but there are some cases that you can say that to the public, like because they have insurance, it actually save them a lot. Do you have any like case studies?
Okay, you know, the life insurance that you buy conventional, there is a few categories to it. You have death, TPD, critical illness, accidental, and medical plan. So past few years ago, I do have a client who actually met with an accident. He was cycling and then he went off road and then he...
Oh, cyclist
Yeah, he jatuh inside the
Does he watch my channel?
I'm not sure whether did he watch your channel. So what happened is he fell inside a drain.
Ouch.
So he took a photo of his injury and then he sent to me. He said, "Hey Vic, can I actually claim this from the insurance?" And thankfully, because I did a planning for him, that he has this feature called minor injury, which he can claim up to 5,000. So it's based on reimbursement. So he go to the ER, right? The ER, the medical officer, the nurses will actually assess his wound, whether it's superficial or, you know, whether is it, you know, serious than that. So his injury was very superficial, thankfully. So, and then they just did a dressing for him lah, put the warm yolk soy,
iodine or stuff.
Iodine and things like that. So that, I think he spent almost about 2,000 plus.
Wow, just a small fall.
Not one time, but he went for follow-up for the next 1 week. So he in and out. So altogether came out to about 2,000. So but then his benefit was 5,000. So it was actually claimable in that sense.
So it does help, right?
Yes. Maybe you want to check out with your own insurance policy. You do have these kind of features that a lot of people are unaware of it.
Yeah.
It could be as minimal as 2,000 or up to 5, some 10.
Yeah.
10,000, yeah.
I think one of the most important thing for me is insurance agents, right? It's very similar to bike shops, you know. You want to buy a bike from a bike shop that you're comfortable with, that they serve you very well. I think insurance agent also, you need to make sure that your agent is actually very active in the industry. I know there are a lot of agents they are like flies, you know. They go into the industry, after 1 year they cannot survive, they chow. They chow the meow. The problem is they already have some customers and those customers will be orphaned. They don't have agent to service them, right? So
we try not to talk about other agents.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own style.
Yeah, but I think the reason why I'm saying is, yes, we shouldn't talk bad about those agents, but it does happen. And because again, I'm not an insurance agent, so I don't care. I have no filter, you know. But for me, is if my agent doesn't take care of me when the time I need to do claims, it's very headache, you know. So I know that with my wife, she handles a lot of her customers, and when the customer go into hospital, you do help follow up and guide them how to do it right.
Have to. I mean, it is part of our services to actually guide the clients when things happen, admission happen, what's next, and then, you know, give them a heads up what's going to happen next and next, so that they are more prepared and calm lah.
Yeah, calm especially. So now you know that things will happen. For lack of a better word, crap will happen. Right, so when it does happen, right, I think one of the important question now is this: how do you prepare yourself? For example, I think a lot of people, when they buy the insurance, either their parents bought it long time when they're young and pass it to them and they forget about it, but they assume they are well protected. A lot of people probably bought a lot of insurance from the previous agent or whatever, and they're probably not too sure what's their coverage as well. So if let's say you will meet a new customer or a new cyclist or whatever, what is your advice for them to start off with? How will you guide them to protect themselves better?
Well, first of all, if you do have your own insurance already, congratulations, you start from young, so you bought it at a cheaper rate. And it depends on how many years ago that you have this insurance. If we're talking about 20 years ago or 10 years ago, if you have not been updating it, then perhaps it's time for you to look into what you have for yourself. And for those who are planning to get one, I would advise to get it as soon because accidental there is no waiting period for it. Immediately there is a coverage, upon signing you pay the first premium and it's instant. The next hour you get into accident actually is reimbursable. Because I have this client, he was contemplating to buy an insurance, and he knew that it was very important, but then human nature is like that. Well, there's nothing happening so why should I buy? And he just say, okay, let me think about it, I'll come back to you. Of course, for me is I would try to follow up 1 week or 2 weeks, but I wouldn't go more than that because I don't want to pester people.
Yeah, my wife
I would just want to remind you that we have a discussion. If you don't want to take out it's okay. My job is to just share to you, right, what are the importance of it.
Yeah, my wife is not a pushy agent. you meet up with my wife, if you don't want to buy, she's quite cool with it. I think my wife is in this business more to educate people and to advise people accordingly first.
Yes.
And to help. So
back to this guy, after a month later, he actually met with an accident, and he broke his shoulder blade here.
Collarbone, I think collarbone.
Yeah.
Which is a very common injury for cyclists actually.
Yeah, I think he fell down sideways and he broke the collarbone here, and then he has a metal insertion. Now with that, right, if 1 month ago he were to sign up, not only it was being covered, but now because after the incident he only signed up, there is an exclusion. That means the coverage will not cover this condition that he has. So in a way, thankfully he is fine in a way that there wasn't any permanent disability. It was just a metal insertion here which the insurance company don't cover. But it gives him an aha moment, like oh, okay, now I know why insurance is so important.
Yeah.
And in fact he asked me when can he appeal to have this to be covered. I say, well, give it a year or two when the metal insertion has been removed, then maybe we can appeal the case.
Yeah.
So insurance is not only buy with money, but you also have to buy with good health. And not everybody can buy insurance, especially if they are sick. People who has condition like diabetes, they can't buy medical insurance, but they can buy life insurance. And you want to buy it, I mean, at least 2 months before your birthday, because it's cheaper, right? And when you are healthy, and especially if you have family that
depends on you.
That depends on your income to take care of them. I mean, it's a responsibility
Yeah. Buying a bike, go outside and have fun. It's more to that, right? Don't forget, when you love yourself, people also love you, so you have to protect yourself. So there are a few more questions that just come to my mind as well. I think it's true, the saying goes that when you're young and healthy, that's the best time to buy insurance. When you feel invisible, it's the best time to buy insurance actually, right? Or protection. I won't say insurance because insurance sounds so taboo. I think the problem now, the reason why people find insurance taboo is because of the agent. I think a lot of people probably receive too many calls from agents. They're like selling property, Hi, I'm from this and this company. Are you interested in insurance or not? Some people probably get 20-30 calls a month, right? But I think having a good agent is actually very important, and it's not that bad actually. Especially for me, I feel so beneficial having you as my wife and as an insurance agent and my insurance agent as well. She actually advised me a lot of things that I never knew that it's so important. Okay, so I got one question for you, and I think this is quite common because a lot of people who are while working, their company offer them insurance protection, and they feel that because they have insurance protection, they're pretty well off already. Is that true? Because then they feel that since their company is providing insurance protection for them, then I think some of them, they just shoot off the fact from buying insurance or protection.
I mean, having a company insurance is a bonus for you, because first of all, you don't have to pay for yourself but there is also some downside to it, because there was this incident. One of my client, she works for a prominent company, and during the pandemic, right, the company did not renew the insurance for the company, I mean for their staff So during that time, she had fibroid. Fibroid is like a pimple, like that. Not pimple, like a cyst inside her womb that caused her backache. So she couldn't utilize her company insurance then, and thankfully she has her own insurance, which she has bought from me. And she checked into the hospital and got the fibroid removed. The whole incident came out to about 20,000. So having a company insurance is always beneficial It's a bonus. If you need admission, you should always use your company one first. Then only if, let's say, incidents such as just now as mentioned happen, at least you have a backup.
True.
And also, especially if you were only to look for an insurance after your retirement, your premium will be higher, health condition may not permit. So there's a lot of factors.
Yeah, and you might probably not work in that same company for the rest of your life, and if you retire, you also don't have insurance anyway. Right.
So at the end of it, maybe now that you have company insurance, you probably can go for a deductible plan. So deductible is something like, let's say your company covers you for 50,000. Okay, the first 50,000 will be covered by your company. Anything above 50,000, you can use this medical card. So then it will be a cheaper. And then when you retire, then you can switch for a comprehensive
that makes sense.
coverage.
Because if people don't buy their insurance now and depend on the company, when they retire and they buy, it'll be more expensive as well, right? Right.
Yes.
Think about that. How about will writing and wasiat and all those stuff?
Okay, will writing is something crucial because if you don't write a will, right, that means you're letting the law decide how to handle your assets after you're gone. So if you want the law to handle your assets, or you want yourself how you want to distribute your assets, so that's up to you. So if you want to decide how much, or how your assets are being given to your family, then you should write a will.
Or wasiat for the Muslims.
For the Muslim, wasiat is a bit complicated because they have faraid and things like that, and it's advisable. A lot of people, especially our Muslim friends, some of them are aware the importance of wasiat, and some are like, they don't know that they have a choice to write a wasiat. Because yes, even though you write a wasiat, right, let's say you want to give to your family a certain amount and things like that, your family members still can contest for it. Those who are not happy with the distribution that's written down in your wasiat, but at least you already have this wish and you can protect the interests of your wife by adding the clause called Hatta Sepencarian. So at least your wife will not be only getting like 1/8 of your estate especially those who have children.
Okay, so is there anything else you want to add? I think that is important. Besides, your husband is very nice and kind.
I think that's about it Because insurance is not an interesting topic lah.
Yeah.
So that's why I do baking and I do skating.
Yeah. My wife skates with me.
And
Saw that.
I mean, through baking and skating, you actually make friends, and there's a common topic. Then we can talk about it, and then by the way, that's something.
Yeah, so follow my wife's Instagram where she does a lot of baking. And actually, you also do baking, like online baking.
Oh yes, I did during the pandemic, just for fun, and it was quite fun lah. A lot of my clients and even prospects actually joined me during that few months. Once a week kind
My
of
wife
thing.
is pretty good in baking, so if any of my subscribers who are female or even men, to be honest, there are pretty good bakers out there who are men, right? You can follow my wife's Instagram and message her, and if let's say you're keen to do any baking classes with her online, just PM her. I think she'll be more than happy to organize if she has the time.
I am just amateur, okay? I'm not a professional, just out of
Macam hotel.
passion only,
Yep, so 30 minutes is up. So I think that's about it for today, everyone. Again, I want to introduce to you my lovely wife, Victoria. Happily married. And if any of you who are still curious about how do you protect yourself while you're cycling, do consider to drop her a message and let her guide you through. I think it's very important to have an agent that you're comfortable with, and at least I vouch for my wife, not because she's my wife, but because I've seen how she dealt with customers. She's not pushy, so she will probably meet up 1-2 times with you guys or girls, and if let's say you're not keen, it is what it is, it's okay. Because I think insurance is just a product. There are many people selling the insurance. The real product that you're buying from is the agent, because servicing is very important. So it's similar like bike shop. Buy from the person who you trust, that your life can depend on to a certain extent in terms of that protection. So if any of you have any more questions, I think this video is very long already. I'm pretty sure a lot of you are probably already cut off 5-10 minutes later. But if any of you stayed so far and you think this video helped you, share, like, subscribe, and educate your friends. Okay, I'm not asking you to buy insurance or protection or will from my wife. I'm just educating all of you. I think it is pretty important, especially we are all out there in the wild. Okay, think of cars being a weapon of mass destruction, especially if the driver is not concentrating on the road and smack to you. So those does happen. Okay, so that's all, folks. God bless, take care, and
bye.
No, don't buy.
Click like and subscribe.
No, you share na.
And share.
Ciao, guys. God bless. This money lah.
This one is love.
Money.